So we're inside the new Prius.
Yes.
Joe, so anything you want to talk about?
Well, in the last car, you kind of had this bank that ran across here, which you've still got. It's kind of unremitting grey. It's not very nice quality plastic. The thing that kind of really, I think, comes across still in this car.
Now, that might sound weird on video, but it sounds even weirder here.
The thing that I think still comes across in the inside the Prius, sadly, is that the money in this car has been spent on the drivetrain, not in the interior. And I mean, it's like this kind of, spray-on painted plastic.
Or is it about lightweight?
Just all feels. No, it's not. It's just about. I think it's really just about saving money. But my point was, sorry, not just to slate it, to say that actually, in terms of an environment, a cockpit within which to drive, this centre stack, which kind of connects here, and it's probably very difficult to see on camera, is much nicer. It feels you're much more cocooned. It feels much more like a driving environment rather than sort of, I don't know, piloting a kind of space hopper thing. If we start,
this is very nice.
It's all
embedded over here.
Also been charged, but with
now, would I know how to start this? Because I famously
probably not, because you forget to put your foot on the brake.
Yeah,
in
it's
an
worth saying,
automatic.
because I was in LAX in the airport, so I had to phone you. I'd just drop you off because I couldn't make it start.
Just get it to beep. I think that actually what you see in the centre, this is something to film out, which is actually really quite nice. So just feel my hand on here first, these buttons on the dashboard. So I'm just stroking those, I'm not actually pushing them, and look then what's happening on there.
So you're actually...
So they, and keep the hammer on that, so they pop up on the front, in front of, and if you kind of point the camera over there, they actually kind of, they somehow, in my eye line, they replace the MPG and the fuel
and those little... So these are kind of touch-sensitive buttons. This is nice, because so when they actually mirror exactly the shape of the controls here.
Yeah.
So when you go to that, it shows you the controls, which is nice.
And then you still got, the key thing is that they've moved, in terms of the generation of the cars. This car has the built-in navigation, but in the old car, the navigation screen and the hybrid monitor were in one place.
Sure.
Here we've got the hybrid monitor in the centre of the car, and you can scroll through. This is the new hybrid system indicator, and the same consumption thing to show you how much you're regenerating every minute.
Feels a lot better integrated.
It is a lot better integrated. The thing still to note, I think, which is really important, is that this can be seen pretty much by anyone in the car, and this is a major selling point for the Prius, particularly in California. That, it's a kind of show and tell thing about hybrids.
Yeah.
And I'm not just slating Toyota for this. I think it's important because someone will get in a car like you and they say they've never been in a Prius before, and they will be able to see that. And that's the most informative thing in terms of showing you. So we can see there, red line from the engine to the generator to the battery. So it's running the engine because the car's flat cold because it's been parked here for 8 hours. And that's charging the battery, but also if we sort of set off...
Right, well, should we get going?
Yeah. It beeps like mad. But put it in reverse, it just beeps at you.
Oh, but it's got that thing...
And it's got a backup camera.
I always just go back
until you shouldn't.
Until I bump somebody. No,
I'm
just not.
Nice. And it's got this.
You need it with the sort of cam tail design as well. They're horrible to park.
Well, it can park itself as well. There's a button down here which we'll try and demonstrate at some point. It parking itself. I haven't actually got it to successfully function doing that yet. And the other thing which you won't be able to see on camera is this is a top of the range T Spirit, and I've got a head-up display here, which is actually quite nice. I've never driven a car with a head-up.
You can't see it from here.
You'll have to put the camera right in front of the wheel. But the other thing is, if I program in a destination in the nav, it will go to my house. Everyone knows where I live now. It will then put overlay in this head-up display. When we get to a junction, it will overlay the turn signals. So you're going to need directly to your house.
Straight on.
Okay. The other thing, which is I find really poor about...
Charmer nav, not sat nav.
The other thing I find really poor about this navigation, and it's I think it's a Denso... I can't remember, actually, I don't know who's done the software on this, but I think it's similar to one that Ford have in their US cars. The one in Ford's US cars really impresses me. This one is fine. The only thing is, all sat-navs do, they estimate how long it will take you to get to your destination. It's hopeless, right?
28 minutes from Surbiton to Surbiton at 20 to 5 in the afternoon.
And it's odd because it's got a traffic function. It knows where traffic is. It can route you around traffic, but it can't seem to think ahead and get the journey and work out where the traffic is and then think about how long it's going to take. And it just seems to assume a kind of average speed on roads.
Yeah.
And it's something that's actually quite different to all the other navigations I've used. The ones and things like Audis and BMWs, in my experience, do tend to be relatively accurate.
Yeah.
And this is, in terms of you actually being somewhere on time, it's just next to useless. So I find that a bit annoying. But
okay, so anything else quickly before...
Design details. I find this really offensive, the fact that it's telling me the airbag light is on. I know why it's there. It's because they've got nowhere to put the sticker to tell you not to fit a rear-facing child seat for the airbag. But that's the first car I've seen where that's on all the time. And
yeah, because it just makes you think you nearly run out of fuel or something.
It's not really that. I think it just looks cheap. It's not the thing as a passenger you want to just stare at. No. I mean, I don't know if I'd rather stare at that or the emitting grey.